Every news station has a voice that is steady, familiar, and comforting, even when the world feels upside down. For us here at WBIR, that voice belonged to Ken Schwall.
15.
He didn't just report the news. He brought it to life, often with a wink, sometimes with a tear, always with heart.
3, 2, 1.
In an industry that often moves too fast to feel, Ken's gift wasn't just reporting facts. It was reminding us all to breathe, to laugh, and to care. Now, we look back at a life lived in full color and revisit the joy, wisdom, and mischief of a man who made news not just bearable, but better.
Ken Schwall, Action 10 News.
Ken Schwall grew up tough in the snow and cement of Detroit, Michigan.
You think M&M's rough. The 8 Mile kids, nothing. 7 Mile kids, we were tough. Our school, they had to have recess twice a day to carry out the wounded. Yes, that's how rough we were.
Ever the clown, he got serious when he met a girl named Karina at one of his first jobs.
We sat next to each other the first day and have been together ever since.
Yeah. We went out for a Coke, the classic thing that people did in years gone by.
Within a few years, Ken and Karina were married. Ken worked as an afternoon DJ at a local radio station. But after 5 years on air, they packed up and headed south to Karina's home.
I grew up with the gentle rolling hills and nice climate, nice weather, and southern hospitality, and don't sound like a southern girl, but I am.
I took the step that a lot of Yankee boys take, and that's I met a girl from Tennessee, and the rest is history. And here I am. She dragged me down here kicking and screaming, and I'm thrilled she did.
Through all the trials and tribulations of marriage, Ken always kept his trademark sense of humor.
I remember in our early years of marriage, it could get somewhat stormy at times, and I would often diffuse the situation by making her laugh, and I can always do that.
I say that if I were living in the Middle Ages, I would have married the court jester.
So I think that humor saved our marriage.
After moving to East Tennessee, Ken continued his radio career at WGAP in Blount County. There, his talents were recognized by WBIR anchor Bill Williams.
So I learned early on, if you wanted to know what was going on in Blount County or in Maryville, you called Ken Schwall at the Gap. I mean, he had a radio voice, one that I always wished I had. But we needed a reporter. And I told Schwall, I said, I want you to apply for this job.
Heeding Bill's advice, Ken was hired as a reporter at WBIR in 1979.
Ken had that devilish grin and those mischievous eyes. He had this wonderful radio voice, and he was okay looking, okay? Not great, but okay. So I'd gone to the director and said, look, we got this new kid coming on. Add him to the credit roll, put him under reporter. Here's how you spell his name.
Before he could break the news about his departure to WGAP, an on-air mishap did it for him.
Somehow or another, the unhired Ken Schwall's name rolled up the screen as a new reporter at Channel 10. And I don't know the exact repercussions of that, but I do know this. I taught Mr. Ken Schwall how to break news on television that night.
While some folks look to comics for profit, others look to them for fun.
Ken's very first story on WBIR was at a local comic book convention.
Not only are comics and old newspapers collected by these folks, but relics of the past, like this $200 original #1 Buck Rogers pistol. Bang. Ken Schwall, Action 10 News.
In his first year as a reporter, Ken covered everything from soybeans to chemical
The
spills.
investigation is really just beginning. The company was supposed to move next week.
But at heart, he is a newsman's newsman. I'll never forget the Nellie McCall story. Nellie McCall was a widow woman whose land was being taken over by the Tellico Dam under the direction of federal marshals. She was moved out of her house. It was wonderful TV. Just a great TV story. And Ken Schwall told it so magnificently, so beautifully.
By 1981, Ken had won numerous journalism awards and was offered the job as news director at WBIR.
Well, the manager asked me if I'd do it, and I knew better. I knew, no, I don't want to do that. But I suggested Ken Schwall. He was news director for, I don't know, a year and a half, 2 years.
Ken's first big move as news director, hiring Miss Tennessee, Moira Kay.
Well, turns out it was his first day as news director. I don't think he knew what to say to me, so he said, well, why don't you come in for an interview? I ended up getting hired at Channel 10 and working as the weekend weather anchor. Well, Ken was the weekend news anchor, so here we are. We ended up working together, and we've been friends ever since.
Ken Schwall voluntarily stepped down from his position as WBIR news director in 1983 to return to his previous role as a beat reporter for Knoxville's surrounding counties.
In Blount County, Ken Schwall, Action 10 News. Ken Schwall, Action 10 News at the Phipps Bend Nuclear Plant. Ken Schwall, Action 10 News in Greenville.
My problem was how to get people in Knoxville or Loudoun County to care about a wheel tax in Cocke County. So to do that, I tried to make it just a little bit folksy and not really entertaining, but entertaining.
Out of that need to make his stories entertaining grew what would be known as Schwall's World.
If you're looking for the unique, you've come to the right place.
It happened by accident. I was doing real news, but on slow days, I would go out and find a feature to do, and I enjoyed that. One particular week back in 1995, it was a slow week. So I ended up doing stories like 5 days of features and put a little humorous twist. And people started to say, hey, we like that new funny stuff you're doing. So we had to keep it up.
And the rest is history.
The rest is fluff history, yes. We went from hard news to fluff.
It fit his personality, it fit who he was better, to just tell stories about interesting and unique people in East Tennessee. And he did it in such a way that it wasn't schmaltzy and it was fun, and it just gave us a slice of life every day.
It's got a narrow range of likes and dislikes, and but wouldn't it be good if we put him in situations that he was totally uncomfortable in? And that's magic.
So there's a little bit of L for impishness in him too that comes through in the way he kind of challenges people in his pieces to sing when they don't sing or to do whatever. And he gets folks to do things that they wouldn't normally do.
Ken's charm led to many classic moments and characters for the viewers of East Tennessee, like Buster the Donkey, who performed every year at the Nativity Pageant.
Every year, they would go get him out of a field up in Halls or someplace, and every year he would run, and they'd have to take a rope and lasso him and pull him in, and then take him to the Nativity Pageant. And sometimes he would, take off with Mary on the back, just hanging on for dear life. Yeah, it was good. One lady, she was Woman of the Year, and she clucked. We make fun of people, and it's probably the most negative thing on the news, but it's all right.
1 minute and 40 seconds was the usual runtime for an episode of Schwall's World. Now that may not seem like much, but for Ken, it was the culmination of an entire day's work.
I am not good at planning.
Sometimes you have to drive quite a bit. I have driven, I don't know the distance, but I've driven 2 or 3 hours at least looking for a story.
It was always an adventure. You never knew if you were going to go to Middlesboro or Murfreesboro or wherever, but we were always on the road.
We get in the car every day and we just keep driving until we find something.
Some people, when they see Schwall coming, they get a little nervous. They're like, oh, great.
He has a way of talking people into talking.
Ken's just got his eyes on everybody. He's like, they won't talk. They won't talk. I bet that person will talk.
It's like pulling teeth. Had I known that I was going to have to pull teeth for a living, I'd have been a dentist.
Always the creative, Ken even edited his own stories.
You know, he doesn't really need us. He has his vision. He has his way of doing stuff. He has a unique style that's all his own.
He knows the timing of the jokes, and he knows the timing of the humor in the story, and I think that's most likely why he doesn't let anyone else touch it.
What do you say to the critics who say all your stories involve food?
No comment.
Positively Schwall, weeknights at 6 on 10 News.
Over the years, Schwall's World transitioned to Positively Schwall to emphasize his lighter take on the news.
Tasty.
It even had its own spin-off called Schwall After Dark that aired in the late-night newscasts.
I think Schwall After Dark may actually have been my idea. It's no longer around. Different kind of bars. I think there was bubble baths involved. And the only reason I feel like it stopped is because we run out of crazy things to do.
And if Ken couldn't find a story for Positively Schwall, there was always his old fallback, Easttown Mall, where he produced stories until its dying days.
This place has seen better days, of course, so have I. Whenever we were stuck for something meaningful and relevant to do, we would come here. So we were here a lot, believe me. Nothing serious, that was against the rule. Back one of the times my wife was trying to get me to lose weight, I'd get home from work, she'd say, "Did you get any exercise today?" I'd say, "Yeah, I walked around the entire perimeter of the UT campus." We came here one day with one of those things you put on your dashboard.
Try to get the thing back into its easy-to-use carrying case.
Yeah, it's kind of sad, and the thing is, I'm glad I'm not working because I, try to get a soundbite around here. Except for me, you got nobody.
Relax. Don't adjust your sex. What you are seeing is real.
He was just a promotion manager's dream because anything you said, within reason, was going to work with Schwall.
Grab your coat and get your hat.
They got to see him in this role, kibitzing with these young ladies and looking awkward. They were funny. We had to be stopped from promoting Ken.
Ken's promos helped attract viewers and the competition.
Oh, this is good stuff. Yeah, you got to see this.
They had started some promos which accused us of being not serious about the news.
The world needs a good two-legged dog story every now and then.
Enter Dominic.
There was a dog, and he was a greyhound, as I recall. And he had been hit by a car and lost 2 of his legs on the same side. So he had 2 legs, and a back and a front, and he was fine as long as he kept moving. But if he stopped, he'd go over like that.
It was one of those irrepressible stories that you just cannot love. And Schwall had his spin on it that was wonderful. And it just connected with the viewers and basically minimized the claim that the competition was making that we weren't serious.
Schwall's World ran 20 years, from 1995 to Ken's retirement in 2015.
Perfect.
This month marks a bittersweet time for us here at Channel 10. At the end of the month, we will celebrate the retirement of one of our own, the only Ken Schwall.
When I first said to Karina, I think I'm going to retire. Now, and this was 3 years ago, but she said, "I'm again it." She says, tell them what you say, dear.
Men need somewhere to go after breakfast.
On Fridays, that place was the Greenback Public Library.
Membership has its benefits.
Here, Ken would cozy up to a computer and respond to viewers' emails.
I have to discipline myself, because if I did it from home, it'd never get done. Plus, I live as we say out in the boonies. I don't have the high-speed modern internet. We have dial-up. Do you remember dial-up? Yeah, we have it at our house. I sit right here in the last computer on the right, as we call it.
If it's 9 o'clock on the dot, I have to tape a sign to the computer so that nobody gets his spot. If you don't have this face, I had to go on your website and get a picture of him. If this is not you, do not sit at this computer.
Matter of fact, if I'm not here at 9, the librarian, Bambi, docks my pay. I don't know how that works, but...
But most of the time, he's back there on the computer, just working.
Did he pay you to say that?
Yes, 20.
Tonight's celebration is all about Ken.
To mark his retirement, the red carpet was rolled out at the Tennessee Theater for a Schwall celebration.
I'm first in line, and I like Ken Schwall. A lot of fun stories. Oh my goodness.
We can't get in this place? I'm trying to scrape up enough money to get in. Oh, selfie time. Here we go. Is that going to flash right in my face?
After 35 years of sharing other stories, it was time to share his.
I can't believe it. I'm really shocked. When they planned this, I told them, you know, nobody's going to want to show up to see me leave. Yeah, I'm very surprised, pleasantly surprised.
Hundreds filled the seats for Schwall's send-off. Tales were told.
Comedy's hard to do, and you do it very, very well.
Anchors rapped.
Was a Boy Scout and a paper route.
And a man even clucked. All to honor East Tennessee's favorite storyteller.
I think the worst part, I'm going to have to pay for my own lunches. This was a mistake. I always say that my job is to cheer people up after the news has depressed them with the news and sometimes the weather and sometimes the sports. I have to come up and cheer them up. But this place has always been fun, and I love that, and I'll miss it.
And on his final day,
well, here we are in the second floor sales department storage room, which 35 years ago was a bustling newsroom. So we just figured that since this is where it all started, this is where it should all end. This place will always hold a lot of memories for me. The people we met along the way, and there have been between 25 and 30,000 of them, are really the ones who deserve the credit. They've been fun, they've been talented, they've oftentimes been willing to break out of their comfort zones. And that has made my job relatively simple. Then there are my coworkers. There have been a lot of them over the past 35 years, including the incredible Bill Williams and Robin Wilhoit and John Becker. But all of them good journalists, good serious journalists. For all you viewers who have watched over the last 35 years, laughed with us, sometimes laughed at us, thanks for your loyalty. Maybe we'll meet again. And until then, always remember one thing.
in the time after his retirement, Ken would occasionally grace our airwaves.
The one
and only.
The only. Wait for it.
Ken Schwall.
Oh my gosh.
Run into.
Everybody's saying hello back
What,
there.
yeah.
hello,
Ken,
hello.
we love you. Oh, hello.
So, by the way,
can you ask him what he gets at the
John
concession stand?
says he loves you.
Well,
What do you get at the concession stand?
nothing. I bring my own. Oh!
We are learning that this year's umpire is none other than Ken Schwall. Ken Schwall is behind the plate. He took a dozen donuts. He called the donut safe twice when clearly the donut was out.
Woo. I was positively certain that he was in his own world.
Bribe? It's not a bribe. It's nourishment.
I know people wake up with those nightmares that they are late for class. Do you ever wake up with nightmares that, oh my gosh, I haven't finished my story?
Just recently, and I've been out of this for, I don't know, 8-10 months, I had that very dream, that nothing was going right. People weren't there, and it was just, it was a nightmare, literally. So yeah, I do miss being in the newsroom. I miss the fun. I guess I'm like the typical old codger viewer, you know. That word's spelled wrong there.
I think
Hand
we
me
should
the
cut
phone.
here.
My wife is suggesting that I go find a job on the radio as a disc jockey and get back to my roots. And you know what I tell her? No. I'll tell you what surprised me, how fast I got used to it. I did. I thought there'd be this huge period of adjustment and psychological this and that. And I retired on a Friday. You were there.
Yes.
Monday, I get up and it was really strange not to have to go to work. And the whole day was odd. Tuesday, same thing, strange, odd, not to be at work. Wednesday, I never gave it a thought. Just like that. It was the weirdest thing.
Do you recommend retirement?
Oh yeah, if you don't need the money. and even if you do.
My gosh, we have inflicted Ken Schwall on the East Tennessee viewers. How are we ever going to be able to make up for that? But in truth, we also get a great deal of credit because I think Ken Schwall has enriched the community.
He's someone you immediately like when you meet him because he's just got a smile. Now, admittedly, after an hour, you're over it. But his sense of timing, his sense of humor, is excellent at his craft, I should say. And that ultimately is what you want people to say about you.
They're hot too. You didn't tell me they're hot. Here. For me personally, it's been good because I am not by nature an outgoing person. I play one on TV, but my wife will tell you I'm really not outgoing. But it has been nice to develop a relationship with the people of East Tennessee that when you're out at Kroger or at a ball game, and people will talk to you like you're a friend, and I've appreciated that.